Welcome to the Lean Lounge, a podcast brought to you by Lean Revisions. Please welcome your host, Jeff Gray.
Welcome everyone to the Lean Lounge. Good afternoon. My name's Jeff Gray, Lean Revisions CEO. As you know, talk about everything under the Lean Operations Management here on the Lean Lounge. And today I have some special guests that I've known for a couple years now. We have Larry Fluke, Eben Fluke, and Connor Fluke, otherwise known as CJ. Before we dive into what we're going to talk about today, let's have you guys introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about you. Who wants to start first?
I'll go.
Dad.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for having us.
Definitely.
I'm Larry Fluke, president of Fluke Metal Products. I'm third generation for the company. My grandfather started the company back in 1957, and my father ran it through the late 60s and into the early 2000s. I took over the helm around 2004. Both our boys are integrated into the company now. Both been there about 7-8 years. So they're learning the ropes, and so we're trying to push this company into the fourth generation. We are a CNC contract machine shop. We manufacture parts primarily for the medical device and implant industry, aerospace and electromechanical. We're very specific in what we do within our field.
Right.
We focus on close tolerance machining, highly cosmetic surfaces, and micro machining for various components that are in the medical industry.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, I've been to their shop many times, and it's always humming. It's always moving. Yeah. And some of the parts that you guys were showing me, those little teeny parts that go into, angioplasty or something? I was breathing, and it fell on the floor. I couldn't find it. Very precision, high Six Sigma levels, you guys out there. So let's go to Eben.
My name is Eben Fluke. Current position at the company is shipping manager. Been there for about 8 years, as my father said, fourth generation. And been very excited about meeting Jeff and Mason and doing all the lean stuff that they've shown us. I think our company has done great as long as it's been running, but there's always things that you can do better. And Jeff and Mason have kind of shown that. Mentioned to us Ferrari tokens, stuff like this, magic wands. But it's been a good experience working with Mason and Jeff.
All those good things under the Lean umbrella.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of acronyms when these two show up.
And activity, awesome.
Back
in Connor.
My name's Connor Fluke, and I did 6 years in the Navy.
Nice.
Worked at the shop for a couple years when I was before 18, just doing cleaning and miscellaneous projects, kind of, the helper.
Ropes, yeah.
And then joined the military, did 6 years, got out, and then have started going back into the company and kind of learn more involved things that I'm a little more built together in the head.
Right.
So, but mostly been learning a lot of the CNC, running the machine, operating, setting up, the lingo, and then shipping, different QC parts of our shop. So learning a little bit of everything and how it works and manages.
Right.
Jack of all trades.
That's what you need to do to take over someday, right?
Yeah.
Small business, a lot of hats.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I know.
Very common.
One day you're the janitor, the next day you're the accountant, the next day you're the shipper.
Next day your son's asking you to be the CEO.
Moving you over, yes. You saw that post, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so here on the lounge, we just like to talk about, business and, challenges and what's happening. I have a question. What is it like working with your family members? They're your sons. Do they try to move you out, tell you what to do, or what's it like, the dynamics working together?
Our mom also works there, so it really is
Cindy.
a family get-together every day.
You can be on next time.
It's awesome. I mean, what better opportunity to be able to keep your family together and see each other every day and work through issues together, take advantage of their skill set versus our skill set. They're young and eager, and computers are not an issue for them like they can be for the older folk.
Got to help mom out a lot on the computer. Almost every time I pass the desk. Eben, real quick, could you help me with this? Any of that with that?
You know,
No problem, Mom.
For us, it works. We're a very, very close-knit family, always have been.
Good.
Spent a lot of time together outside of work, and introducing the kids into work, can be challenging because they're looked upon differently within a company than the other employees. And so learning how to push through that and have good integrity amongst the crew,
Right.
They got to pull their weight, and sometimes a little more than the average employee.
Yeah. So you don't want to play favoritisms or nothing. Yeah. So.
The first meeting that we had with Larry after work to talk about the transfer of the business, the number one thing he wrote down, first sentence, image, image, image. Image is everything, especially at our company.
So the image you portray to your
Employees,
workforce,
customers, when you're out doing a delivery, when you're out washing the truck, doesn't matter. Image is affecting.
Yeah, you're the
greatly.
brand.
Right.
Your name is the brand, and your product obviously is high quality, is awesome. When I was doing a Greenbelt class with these guys, I was talking to the quality manager, Jessica, and she was showing me your documentation on your Sigma levels. And I know that these guys do precision parts for hospitals and hearts and rocket ships, all kinds of stuff. And I was looking at your Sigma level on some of your products. It was like 5, which is phenomenal. And I told her that. I mean, and that's your product, that's your quality. And I asked you if your customers have ever complained, and I think you looked at me, you went, "No, what do you mean?" Do you remember me asking you that?
Yeah.
I was like, Larry.
You didn't believe us.
I know. And I was looking at the Sigma level. I'm like, wow, no wonder. But what you're doing is high quality, and lives depend on it. So that's what you're talking about, the image, the brand, that kind of stuff.
And I think, we've always been a very, very close tolerance shop. So for us, to give you your audience an example, take a hair, which is typically about 2.5 to 3 thousandths in diameter.
Right.
Split it 15 times, and 1/15th of a hair is what 100 parts will not vary more within that tolerance of 1/15th of a hair.
Wow. Yeah.
So to be able to do that, today the equipment's capable of doing it. The training to the employees, they're capable of doing it. Tooling requirements to be able to accomplish that is important. But it's just, it's mind-boggling how precision our industry has come.
Yeah.
And I think that back in 2005, when we made a company-wide commitment to go into ISO and get certified for ISO 1345 for the medical device and implant, and ISO 9001 for just general machining, that was a cultural change within the company, because if the quality isn't throughout the whole chain of every individual within your company, you won't have a quality program as robust as ours.
Right.
And so it's from our cleanup personnel to myself at the top, and everybody in between. We have to all live, breathe, and focus on that one goal of maintaining that quality. And it's worked.
Good. Yeah. The workforce, what I realize is it's the culture is awesome. I mean, when you are a leader, and this is for you guys out there listening, every time I've been there, Larry and Edmund and Connor and Cindy and everybody, Joe and everyone, Jessica, you guys are all like a family. You all get along, you work together. Andy, everybody. When there's an issue, you guys work together, you work through it. There's no arguing, I've never heard anyone say anything bad behind anyone's back. And usually the consultants, when you come in, they'll tell you behind closed doors, hey, da-da-da, don't tell Larry, but da-da-da. Yeah. But we haven't had any, that happens all the time with clients, When we do gimbal walks, tell us what's wrong, tell us what's broken. And, no, it's all been good. Everybody's willing to help. We were teaching classes, people were looking in, what are you doing? They were walking in the break room, so everybody could see what we were doing. It was very transparent. They were asking us questions, we were answering them. They wanted to be part of it, and that's the next wave and all that good stuff. So,
you definitely see that. I think originally we went through the green belt class, right? And then finding, how many did we have go through the yellow belt? 15, 10?
Yeah, I think we had
something like that.
14.
10, 12, something, 14, I listened to that one, so
I would say that at that point, after them seeing the green belt class, we had to kind of turn people away. It's like, no, we don't need everybody to be in a yellow belt, but they're like, well, could I go? Could I join? Could I get in there? I want to help out on projects.
Right.
So it's good to see the buy-in that you get from introducing something new into the shop, doing it effectively.
Yeah.
So let's back up a little bit. So it was about 2 years ago that you came in and trained us for our green belt. And again, that was probably since 2005-06 when we implemented ISO certification. This lean approach and learning lean and implementing is probably the second or the next biggest cultural change from the company or within the company. And again, we went through this process of you got to get buy-in, you got to get people on board. And we're a company of about around 50 employees, and now I think we have around 22 people trained, either green or yellow. I know Evan and Jessica and Connor might be moving on to black belt later this year.
Cool.
But introducing lean into our company was very challenging since we started back in 1957. We've got 65 years of very, very consistent ways we do things. And lean has been the out to come in and put a platform in to allow us to look at other ways to be more efficient, be more productive, make more money, improve that bottom line is certainly the ultimate goal. But seeing the buy-in from the employees has been amazing. ISO, it was a real rocky push.
Yeah, it's very
lean
structured.
I think because we've had other employees that have worked out of the companies that have done lean that probably knew more about lean than we did at the time. It really kind of gave us a segue into it to where it was pretty formally accepted across all employees.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was fun teaching your class. Yeah, I remember. Go ahead.
I think we also, like you said, from a company that started in 57, I feel like before your time, our goal was on-time delivery, efficiency, no rejects, straightforward. Get the work done, do this, that. Don't worry about the side stuff because this job has to get done. Jeff comes in here and goes, hey, everybody, we're going to take a month. I want nobody on the machine for 4 hours a week. And we're going to work on these side projects that are around the business. And I think early on, Larry was kind of feeling, what is this guy doing in my shop, taking all of this efficiency out of our machines? We need to work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then once you go through one of those projects and then you see the benefits from those projects, you're like, why didn't we do this 50 years ago,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's work smarter, not harder, all the time.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite part of when we started the whole lean thing wasn't even really lean, but just the 5S.
Yeah.
Just the organization, because I come from the military where everything is organized most of the time and very put together of what you do throughout the day.
Right.
A little bit of chaos, but it's very structured.
Right.
So when I came back to work at the shop and, with all that knowledge or that experience, I'm like, oh, this looks like someone's garage who hasn't touched it in about 20, 30
CJ,
years.
can you find me the socket? Justin had it last week, so I'll go downstairs and check with him. He doesn't have it, so maybe it's out back somewhere.
So, I mean, we still have a long way to go at the shop, but we've come a long way from where we were just through organization and cleanliness there. Which, I mean, if you have an organized and clean shop, it's much easier to find things and save time that way and be efficient.
Right.
Yes, it takes a bunch of front load time to do it.
Right.
But if you maintain it, it saves you a lot of time down the road.
Right.
Every time you have to do it.
It's just part of the way you do the business. Yeah, it becomes that new level of how you operate.
Yeah.
And I would say one of Larry's favorite things to do is take customers through our shop and show them this is where the parts are made. And having them now come into a shop that's organized on its way to being organized, and I think that helps Larry out. Showing like, hey, we run a tight ship here.
Yeah. Plus, it improves morale of the employees. Like, no one wants to come to a shop where it's a disaster every day and they can't find things. And
one of our early on projects, Connor headed up, and it was again most of our lean for the last 2 years, and probably for the next couple of years, has really been focused on setup reduction.
Yeah, that's capacity.
We manufacture about 2,500 different parts in a given year
Wow.
across 22 CNC machines. And so getting from part A to the next part to the next part, that's where we can cut the fat out
That
of
changeover,
the system.
the
The
SMED.
changeover, yeah.
Yeah.
And so one of the biggest first projects that we did was driven by Connor on, focused on our Swiss department, Swiss machining area. We have 8 machines down there. We had various different special tools that are used for
Yeah.
setting up the
I
machine.
remember.
And they were spread out everywhere. You'd go up to the machine, you'd start your next setup. It might take 2 hours to 20 hours to turn this machine over to the next part.
Wow. Wow.
Yet, as a company, we provided the worker an environment where not all the tools that he needs to do the setup are there.
It's 2 machines over.
Yeah, it could be 3
Oh,
machines
yeah.
down there. The one collet gripper's over here. The one wrench that I need's over there.
Oh, wow.
And so Connor went through and completely shadow boxed some toolboxes. I remember Evan mentioned earlier about the cost of this.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the day that Connor came to me and said, "Well, I've made a list of all the different wrenches that we need to now repurchase that originally came with the machine, but we couldn't
But
find
we're
them."
lost over time.
Yeah, over time.
They just
And it was
walked
like
away.
$7,000 worth of tools.
Wow.
But it made it so that each machine has all 50 tools sitting there in various drawers, shadow boxed in foam.
So that's 5S.
Color coordinated, every
yeah,
swing
visual
shift.
management.
The
Unbelievable.
first thing the guy does is come in, open all the drawers. If one thing's missing, hey, where's this tool
Where's
at?
that?
He
Yeah.
won't take over the machine until that tool's
Oh,
he
good.
can't take over the
It's like
machine.
an and
until
done. It's a
there.
stop.
Yeah.
Stop until everything's set.
Get your area ready.
Yeah.
And then you
Very
start
cool.
then you start to see what Connor mentioned on is that morale component of if you have an
Yeah.
organized shop to set up so that your employee could be successful,
Yeah.
that morale pushes through to the other operators, and all of a sudden it's do you like to come into your house and it's all clean and organized, or
Right.
do you want to come in and there's crap
Clutter.
put all over the place for the last 3 weeks and not touched?
Right.
And so it's really improved that morale of the employee that they want to work there, and retention is everything in a highly skilled
Yeah.
trade like we have. Retention is
Right.
probably right after image, but
Yeah.
it's been very beneficial for us. To,
And I would
to
say
see those
already,
successes.
Larry made a comment I found interesting, I think 2 weeks ago or something. 5 years ago, how many employees would leave us a year?
Normally turnover is about 6 to 8 a year.
6 to 8. In the past year,
0.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
hard to correlate directly, but I
Yeah.
think that's an indicator that we're on the
It's-
right track,
yeah,
right?
It's that culture.
It's like, hey, I don't want to go over to XYZ, you know,
Right.
it's going good here. They're showing that they're putting in effort to make the
Right.
business better, not only for the business bottom line, but for the personnel that work there,
Right.
you know.
And I like the fact too that Mason and I have been invited to the golf tournaments. We've been invited to Christmas parties. We've been invited to bar. That's what you're doing with your people. Their organization is by a river, and they have a big area in the back. You do picnics. The people can go out there. And it's the culture. It's the environment.
Got the ping pong table
yeah.
out
The
there
ping
now.
pong table. I mean,
Barbecues.
We recently
Yeah.
spent like $100 on a floor or a tabletop ping pong table that
Yeah.
just folds out. And ever since we bought it, we've had 10 people out there playing every break,
Yeah.
every lunch, every
Right.
break. Yeah.
Right. And it's summertime now in Seattle. You only get
Yeah.
3 or 4 months of that. Or
Gotta
go
use
figure
it.
Yeah. You know, that's great. It's nice. It's very nice. It's that culture. And a lot of organizations, you've said a lot of things. Retention, branding, morale, all of that stuff is under that umbrella. You know, you talked about the challenges from being, back in the 50s, how precision were they to now? The rework and probably scrap and the things that people went through to get things right. Who knows how much that was costing. But now, implementing this and making it part of your organization is what it's all about. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
so then go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to tell you about our current project that we're
Okay,
just finishing
good,
up, which is a
good.
big project, and Evan kind of ran or headed that one up.
Okay.
And it's basically, we're focused on setup reduction. So we went through all the different steps of setting up a machine and identified some low-hanging fruit, I will say, to where there was a time of a portion of the setup is our operator is physically going out and locating his raw material and getting it brought in and staged at the machine as just one little component of the full setup.
Right.
And so we challenged ourselves to make it so that the employee would never have to go look for their own raw material. We want it's something we can do behind the scenes and get that material to their machine a day before it's needed, let's say.
Stage it,
And again, that might be a 5-10 minute process savings, but we do 2,500 different setups in a given year.
Right.
You add 4 or 5 minutes to that, and
you're talking,
it pencils out pretty good quickly.
Yeah. Put a dollar figure
That
to
sounds like a pretty easy step or pretty easy change.
Yeah.
I don't want to scare anybody, but we've got probably 6 months into this project, and I can't tell you how many hours, hundreds of hours.
Wow.
Because what it did is it forced us, as we identified what the end goal was going to be or what it was going to look like, and we tested it, we realized that there were other issues within our inventory, raw material inventory that we had to address. And so it was basically months and months of 100% going through every single raw material that we have. Thousands and thousands of dollars of raw material that we just keep because it's left over at the end of a job. But we're just...
We can use that again.
And it's already
looking at POs from 2001, 2000. Well, we'll get to it. We'll use it. You know, the order will come in.
Your garage starts getting full. I'm like, what is all this?
Most of the time, that material is already bought and paid for. We don't. It just sits there and we don't use it. It might be a job we run one time, and now we have a whole bar of material that's just sitting there for years and years, taking up space. So it's already paid for. Let's get it out of our space,
sell it
or recycle it. But I mean, one thing we struggle as a shop with the most is space, because we're already so packed with everything. So if we can create more space, that helps in the long run.
And that's part of your par levels, your turnover. Think the market changes, product changes, the dimensions, that kind of stuff. And it's always just only get what you need, when you need it, where you need it, how you need it. You guys know all those things. That's what we were talking about. And that's exactly right. If your inventory isn't just turning, and you're just holding it, that's opportunities lost. That's money sitting there. It's capital investments you could do. Space allocation. That impeding you from bringing in new business because you don't have any space. You have a lot of material sitting there.
Unfortunately, they don't use that material for the parts they want us to make.
Exactly. So if you need a new machine, well, we don't have any space. So all that stuff is what I'm seeing exactly transition. Exactly. So what are some nuggets of knowledge you guys would give to an organization, large, medium, or small? Not just lean, but just, challenges, overcoming, working together as a family. What kind of nuggets of knowledge you would give business people?
I would say, to play on something he said earlier, is where he kind of struggled understanding that you have to put the investment to gain the investment.
Nice.
In the military, every morning and evening, 10 to 15 minutes, we would clean. Just 10 to 15 minutes we'd clean. And that initial investment allows it so if we ever have tours, or if we want to find things, or if we just any number of things throughout the day, we already did the initial investment of cleaning and organizing for that first time of the day. It seems for a 10-hour day like we do, 10 minutes in the morning seems well, that's 10 minutes we could be running the machines. But now it's just 10 minutes of having a clean shop and keeping a clean shop, which saves you time that, let's say someone needs to go find something and they spend 20 minutes. If you just spent the 15 minutes, you would have saved 5. Stuff like that. Putting that initial investment of time in seems scary and daunting, but it does help in the long run.
It's the ROI.
Yeah,
for sure. I love that. And that's one of the things about when people in organizations talk about lean, they think about the investment. They don't see the final result because it's not there yet. But once you start going up the hill and start doing things and it grows, that ROI is tenfold. I mean, look at the last 2 years when you guys did your green belt to what you've done now. You've saved thousands and thousands. I don't know if you remember, Larry, but when I first met you that morning, you shook my hand and said, "Hey, let me take you on a tour." Before the class. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
I didn't know you at all, and you're walking me through the shop, and we were just like we knew each other forever. You know, we're the same age-ish. So, you know.
I'm actually quite a bit younger than you.
So he's walking me around, and we go into the training room, and you don't remember what I said to you?
I don't.
You don't? I said, "Hey, dude, you got about 250 grand just on the floor."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And you looked at me like, "What?" I said, "You've only been here 10 minutes." I'm like, "Yeah." You got like, and that's the Ferrari that you guys are gonna get, right?
Yeah,
One day.
we call it
One day.
a Ferrari unit.
The Ferrari unit.
Yes.
And Larry looked at me like, "What? You saw that just by walking around?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I do." And so.
OFI, 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 OFI. Yeah, I got these guys in the bag.
But that's what it's all about, is those little things. You know, walking around every day. This is getting back to what you were saying there, Connor. Was, you know, walking through every day, seeing those little things, out of place, you know, out of order. That's set in order. You know, and the Japanese do this every morning. A lot of companies do that. That first 10 or in construction companies, definitely 10, 15 minutes. Get the whole crew in there. What worked well yesterday? What do we need to improve upon? How are we doing? Everything in order? Let's go. That's what
I
it's
think
all
that's
about.
one of the benefits of a consulting firm coming in and giving a new set of eyes to everything.
Yeah.
I've been there 38 years, and I've looked at the same
Yeah.
item on the bottom of a cart and walked by it for years, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's one thing. I'm not a big consultant guy. We've just kind of do it ourselves
Yeah,
and figure
yeah.
it out ourselves.
Right.
And to go this new journey down lean, it was important that we had you come in and open our eyes, because I think everybody has common sense that they live in their own world
Yeah.
and they don't see the things that somebody else may see.
Right.
And it was very beneficial to have you come in and take a
Yeah.
look at things
Take a look
and
under
say,
the hood.
"Hey, do you know about this over there?" Because we're going to attack that.
Right.
But it's all good.
And the cool thing too is that once you're trained and we roll off, we've transferred that knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And you can now do it, like you say. Once you get the foundation and you know, hey, there's opportunities, I can see them now. You're looking differently at how you work. They're taking over the company. They've been doing this for the next 50 years.
Right.
And then their kids, and then their kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So that's how you want to instill it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I would say my big nugget that I would offer as a young 27-year-old man with plenty of knowledge, but not only at my company, but specifically I have a person in mind, someone else's company where I've heard of not so good stories, is one of the simplest breakdowns that can happen at a company, I believe, is a lack of communication.
Yes.
Meaning, one thing that Fluke has done very well is 9:40 after first break, the first thing that we do is all three managers come into Larry's office and download. They tell him what's going on, what machines are running, what's going good, what's going bad.
Right.
And it gives, from that point, and how those managers get that information is in the morning, the leads will come up, tell the managers how everything's
Right.
going, this machine's in setup, kind of going rough,
Right.
let Larry know, so that everybody top down in the company kind of has an overlay of what's going on
Right.
within. The other company that I I have in mind,
No names.
they lose, their turnover is
Oh, yeah.
massive. It's a small 7-person company, but
They're churning.
it's you can tell that the top person is going to you one-on-one. Hey, I can get you that. Yeah, we'll work. Oh, you want this? Yeah, we'll work on that. Talking to you. Hey, we can work on that. Even though what I'm telling you contradicts what I just told
Right.
that person,
Oh, boy.
I'll work on you with
Yeah.
this. And then eventually person A and B have a conversation,
Right.
realize that they've been promised different things.
Wow.
4 months down the road, nothing happens.
Oh,
You
boy.
check back in, you kind of get shut down in the conversation at that
Right.
particular company, no morning meetings.
Yeah.
Everybody just kind of has their schedule, knows what they need to do.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
good.
Communication is key. Yeah.
Communication.
Especially the bigger you get.
And it sounds so simple, but
Yeah.
it can save you thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
A lot of these things aren't expensive to do.
No.
No.
Just,
Well,
you know,
you and that's probably the biggest hurdle for the owner of the company to get past is the cost,
Yeah.
the upfront cost. You do have to,
Sure.
like Connor said, invest into tomorrow.
Invest. Yeah.
One thing to finish up with Evan's thought there, and I don't think I've ever shared this with you. We started the morning production meeting at 9:40. I want to say about 7 years ago. And the part that I've never shared with you is that was the byproduct of a visit I did back in Michigan to one of our customers that was implementing lean.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And they had a daily production
Yeah.
meeting, and it started at, and same thing in our case. It starts at 7:00 where employees are talking to their leads about various issues.
Yeah.
Then around 8:00, the leads are talking to managers.
Yeah.
And then 9:40, the managers are coming all together. And so we know who's here, what machines are running and not, what jobs we're struggling on, what jobs are flying, what the load on shipping is, what the load on order entry quoting is, what the load on scheduling is. We in a matter of 10 to 15 minutes, we have a daily snapshot of where we need to deploy our resources to deal with the issues. And that was all from seeing lean for the first time 7-8 years ago. For
Very
me.
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. No, you never did tell me that one.
No.
But that's the start. Yeah.
And we've done it every day since.
Nice.
And again, I'm a believer. Once you buy in, you got to stay 110% in.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I've seen too many times in older companies like ours where great ideas get implemented, and then it's the honeymoon for 2-3 weeks, and then you're back to
Where's the
square
control
stuff.
plan?
Yeah. Who owns this?
How do you? And I think that's the best part of lean for an entrenched company like ourselves with years and years and years of doing it the same way, not necessarily the right way, but just doing it the same way. Is lean has taught us how to get buy-in by including employees all up and down in all departments to see the objective and work on that objective, and then rip it apart and rebuild it and make it something that's better than it was.
And I remember when Mason did the Yellow Belt, the teams that you had, they weren't the best friends, I should say, when they were working together, but by the end of their exercise and working together and working on that issue as a team, I remember one of your comments was something like, wow, I didn't think those guys were going to work together that well.
Didn't see oil and water working together.
Right, there you go. Yeah, and they presented, and I remember you standing next to me and you were like, wow, look at these guys. Because they were focused on what was beneficial for all of them. And it probably broke down some barriers where they were sitting there blaming each other, but it really wasn't each other. It was the system. It was the process. It was the way things were running and set up and the communication. So, yeah, it's all good. That's why, everything under the lean umbrella is good.
It is. It is. There's, and I don't think we'll ever be done.
It's continuous improvement.
Yeah, it's just going to go on.
Because,
and on.
when they take over, the market's going to change, your products are going to change, you're going to be able to adapt to change. Your AI, all this stuff is going to be helping you. Technology, you always got to be ready, especially when you're running your own show. And you're running lean and stuff. You gotta always be ready for what's coming at you. Yeah. Well, awesome, you guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. Piece of cake, huh? Fun.
Yeah.
Easy.
Easy. Awesome.
Wonderful.
Well, I want to thank the Flukes, Connor, Evan, and Larry, and Cindy.
Hi, Mom.
You'll be next. Maybe when next time I come to the shop,
She'll get you some nuggets of knowledge. Oh, yeah. Bountiful.
You may not want to post.
Yeah. What's the max record time? 3 hours? 4?
we can do phases.
Yeah, part 1 through
Part
70.
So Sydney really does run the show.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, you got it on film.
Yeah.
Cindy is Larry's wife and their mom.
She's the only one at work right now.
She's holding down the fort.
That's right.
She's holding down the fort.
There's always one of us.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much.
Yeah,
This is
thank
great.
you.
This
Thank
is
you
great.
for
This is great.
everything you've done for us. and
Definitely.
Getting the relationship built up, working with your son Mason has been phenomenal.
Awesome.
And if you want to check out anything for Fluke Metal Products, our website's flukemetal.com, FLUKEMETAL.com. Thank you, Jeff.
And you're in Baltha, Washington.
Baltha,
There's a lot of
Washington.
Flukes out here.
There is.
I know. So get the right one.
Yeah.
And their Sigma level is 5.45, something like that, you guys. So if you need precision parts, this is where you go. So thank you very much for listening. You know, if you want to be in the audience someday, you want to contact us for help, contact at Lean Revisions. We're all over Apple, Spotify, everything. Share this with your friends, and see you next time. Thank you very much, you guys. Bye.
All right. See you.
Bye.
For more information on today's show or to become a sponsor, visit leanrevisions.com. Join the virtual studio audience by emailing podcast@leanrevisions.com for tickets. Follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and X. This podcast is hosted by Jeff Gray, produced and edited by Make Your Day Richer.